It's almost never the way people imagine. No explosion of light, no dramatic breakthrough moment. For most people, it begins right in the middle of regular, messy life. Delays, unanswered questions, the same patterns repeating. And then something shifts quietly inside you. And once that internal shift happens, reality starts behaving differently. Pieces that never fit begin to line up, conversations soften, decisions feel lighter, and coincidences stack up so precisely that calling it luck starts to feel dishonest. At first, you don't trust it. You tell yourself nothing actually changed, but it did. You did. And that's the part almost nobody says out loud. The world doesn't suddenly cooperate, resistance fades, and things begin moving without you forcing them, like something invisible had been waiting for you to see it clearly. So, the question isn't whether the quantum field is real. The unsettling question is, what if it's been active the whole time, responding continuously, just not to your conscious wishes? What if it's been answering your signal, not your words? And what if it's been waiting for you to understand how it actually listens before it could meet you where you are? Because underneath your awareness, you think a thought, hold an image, repeat the right phrases, and nothing seems to move. Then, almost without noticing, your posture toward life changes. Not your vocabulary, your state. And suddenly, reality answers in ways that feel eerily precise. This is where most people get it wrong. They were taught the field responds to thinking, but it doesn't. It responds to what you embody. There's a subtle, decisive difference between wanting something and being the kind of person for whom that thing is natural. You can think about abundance all day, but if your body is tight, your choices are defensive, and your attention is trained on loss, the field receives scarcity, not as punishment, not as judgment, just as information. The field reads coherence, not the words you prefer. You already know this in human terms. Walk into a room feeling insecure. You don't announce it, you don't explain it, yet people sense it. Your shoulders, your breath, your eyes, the speed of your voice. All of it broadcasts a signal. Now, imagine that same principle operating deeper, where reality itself is the room, and you're always entering it with a signal already running. That's why so many good practices fail. People sit, visualize success, repeat affirmations, but underneath, there's contraction, a subtle waiting, a silent hope that something external will compensate for an internal state that hasn't changed. The field doesn't negotiate with hope. It mirrors state. So pause for a second and check something real, not theoretical. When you imagine what you want most, what happens in your body? Do you feel expansion, or do you tighten somewhere? The field is far more interested in that tightening than in the picture you're projecting. Embodiment isn't acting as if to trick the universe. Pretending adds noise. Embodiment is what happens when your nervous system settles into a new baseline, when your reactions change before your circumstances do, when you stop bracing for disappointment without making a dramatic announcement. And this is where honesty becomes unavoidable. It's easy to say, I believe, while running cautious optimism on top of old fear. The field isn't offended by fear, but it will respond to it faithfully. If fear is active, fear organizes around you. Delays, mixed outcomes, half wins that keep you guessing. And if nothing is changing, it might be because you're still embodying the same internal patterns while asking for different external results. That's not failure. That's feedback. Think of tuning an instrument. You can intend to play something beautiful, but if the strings are off, intention won't fix the sound. You don't yell at the instrument, you adjust the tension slowly, precisely. Embodiment is retuning your default responses. How you handle the unexpected, how you respond to challenges, it's all part of the signal you're broadcasting. And when you change that signal, reality starts to shift in ways that feel almost magical. So, what's the key to accessing this new reality? It's not about thinking differently, it's about embodying a new state. It's about upgrading your firmware and achieving escape velocity from the old patterns that held you back. It's about applying Protocol 77 and allowing yourself to be guided by a new inner navigation system, the one that's been waiting for you to tune in all along. The sovereign synthesis is not just a concept, it's a lived experience. It's the result of applying the principles of embodiment and allowing yourself to be guided by a new inner wisdom. It's the result of overcoming biological drag and achieving a new level of freedom and creativity. And it's available to you right now if you're willing to take the leap. So what are you waiting for? The full protocol is at sovereignsynthesis.com. Join the community and start your journey to a new reality today. The full protocol is at sovereignsynthesis.com.